Want to know how to use the Zoom L-12 as a multi-track recording device? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the L-12 as a multi-input audio device within Ableton Live 10. Check it out. What's up? My name is Matthew Stratton, and I like to help ambitious individuals start and continue to create music. On this channel, I do setup videos, tutorials, and overviews about music and music production. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Welcome back to the next episode of Matthew Creating Music. In this episode, what I'm going to do is take multiple instruments around the room, plug them into the Zoom L-12, and go ahead and set up the Zoom L-12 within Ableton Live. This way we get several different tracks or audio inputs within Ableton Live, and we can record on all those tracks simultaneously. Let's get right into the video. So here we are. We got a drummer, we got a bassist, and we got a guitar player. Not literally, I don't have a band with me. So this setup is gonna work if you wanna record your synthesizers and a live instrument. And then the concepts are gonna be universal for your input. So if you were recording a live band, this would work for you as well. I have my MPC Live, I have my Moog Minotaur, and I have a guitar over here, okay? So I have my guitar. These are the instruments that I have. Now I need to explain a couple things about the MIDI setup. I have MIDI that is programmed in the MPC Live, and it's coming out of this MIDI channel here. And that's going into the Minotaur. So that way, whenever I push play on here, it's going to play bass. And then the audio from the Moog Minotaur is going out of there and into here. And if you look at the back of the MPC Live, there's this red cable. So this is coming USB from the computer. So it's actually to and from the computer. This is going to be the output, and this is going to be the input from the computer. This is where the MPC Live is going to be synced from Ableton Live. Then you have your MPC Live audio cables going out and into your Zoom L-12. And then the guitar, which is right here, is coming out from here, okay, and then into here. Now on the Zoom L-12, there's a button that says High Z. I have that pressed in. This way the guitar goes into here and it's going to have the correct impedance, what have you, and it's going to have a nice clean signal from the guitar. Quick review, MIDI is coming from here to the Moog Minotaur. MIDI is coming from Ableton Live into here to sync. Okay, audio is going out from the main outputs of the MPC Live into 9 and 10 inside of here, inside of the Zoom L-12. And then the audio is coming out of the Minotaur into track 3, and then it's coming out of the guitar into track 2. All the cables are different, so you can kind of see what's going on there. Now, right here are your outputs from the Zoom. We got left and right. These are actually going to my monitors that are sitting up here. And then I have a headphone out right here. All right, this is going to enable us to monitor. Now on the physical mixing console here, I have the mixer set to mute. So all of these are muted, except for track 11 and 12, which is going to be the USB return from Ableton Live. So the USB return is going to come through here, which is USB 3 and 4. USB 3 and 4 is going to come through here. It's going to go through this channel and out to the master. And this way I can monitor whatever's going on with my headphones. Okay, so I can record my guitar. Now I am recording at the same time. So right here I'm recording onto my master channel. And that's the good thing about the Zoom L-12 is you can record onto an SD card, okay, as well as record into your software. So that's what I'm doing here. All right, this way I'm able to record everything I'm doing inside of Ableton Live into this channel here onto the master track. All right, so a couple things about MIDI. So if we go to menu, right here we need to set the MPC Live to receive MIDI clock, and it is set there. So it might be off. So I just set it to receive MIDI clock, and that's actually going to come from Ableton Live and go into here. And once I hit play on Ableton Live, it's going to start playing. All right, the drums are going to come out of here, and then MIDI is going to come out of here as well and start playing the bass. So these two items are going to start playing as soon as Ableton Live starts playing. All right, now the guitar is going to be up to me to play, and we're going to be able to record all these things at the same time. So that's the goal. So let me show you now. I'm going to go back to song mode. So let me show you within the software here. So this is a brand new project. If we go to options, there's a few things we want to do. Okay, we want to go to preferences. Let's just go into preferences first. So we need to download it and install our Zoom ASIO driver. So once that's installed, we just select it here from the list. All right, and then we select Zoom L-12 right there from the list. And then we can set up our input configuration. You can see we have 13 different inputs. So the Zoom L-12 actually has 8 mono inputs and then 2 stereo channels. Now 13 and 14 is the master fader from the Zoom. Now on here I have mono inputs 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's going to correlate right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the Zoom. Over here we have stereo inputs. That's going to be 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, and then we have 13 and 14 as the master input inside of the software. So I just have those in case we wanted to use any of these, we can. Now, obviously this setup doesn't have all these inputs set up, but I'm going to show you how to do it this way so you have that option if you need it. So we're going to be able to record from all of these inputs at the same time within our DAW. So click OK, get out of there. All right, so right here is our output configuration. If you look, we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the reason being is on the Zoom L-12, we have a USB return 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we can cue things on 1 and 2 and then listen to our master on 3 or 4 or whatever. We have options there. Now, I'm going to use 3 and 4 and I'll tell you why. So I'm going to leave that selected, click OK. And over here, I'm going to select 3 and 4 for both cue and master out. And when I click test tone, it's going to come through 11 and 12 and go in through here. Okay. And it's working properly. Now, the reason why I picked 3 and 4 is because it just keeps my mind organized. I know that this far track here is actually the USB return. That's why I picked that. Now we can set up our hardware setup. On the back of the Zoom, there's a switch to go from 44.1 kilohertz or 48 kilohertz. Now I have it on 44.1, but you can switch it to 48, but you need to do it on the back of the Zoom. Now I set my buffer size to 256. All right, so I'm recording video and doing all this at the same time. So, I mean, if you can, you want to put this as low as you can when you're recording. So I'm going to click out of that. All right, and then right here, we can't really change that because that's set by the physical hardware. But if you look at our buffer size, it's at 256. All right, so our audio setup here. Now, there's a few things we need to be aware of whenever we are using this. All right, so I have a couple things going on here. All right, so if you click right here where it says link MIDI, there's a few things going on. You know, I got my input and output, so I can use my MIDI cable, all right, my USB MIDI cable with the MPC Live, so that's why that's set up there. All right, I guess you really don't need that selected. It's just for my own brain. But over here, I have my output device on, and I have sync on, and I have this MIDI clock sync delay at negative 35 milliseconds. Then I have clock type on song. Now, being that this is on song, whenever I hit play within Ableton Live, it's going to play through song mode on here. So I can go, from sequence 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 right here inside the MPC Live. And that's going to enable me to stream, all of these different patterns together and, play a song. Hey, if you're finding value in this video, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out this video and helps the outreach of this video. If you have any questions about anything, remember to leave a comment below and ask the question. Let's get right back into the video here. I'm a big fan of MPC standalone. Now, if you had this set up in the software, it would be a whole different ball game. But I wanted to show you, how to do this with external devices in case you had like an Multitrack or different kind of MIDI sequencers. It's going to work kind of similar. All right, so what this is going to do is the output USB MIDI interface is going to sync and send MIDI clock. Right here it says MIDI clock sync. So we're going to send MIDI clock into the MPC Live. And if you remember, we already set the MPC Live to receive MIDI clock. So everything is set up right there. Now let's go back to the audio tab. If you look here, we do have, a latency of 20 milliseconds. We need to kind of compensate for that. All right, so the next thing we need to do is if you click on options, right here we need delay compensation on, and we can click reduce latency when monitoring. That's going to help out. All right, so those options are selected, and we'll get into that more in a second. Let's go ahead and delete this MIDI track. Delete this MIDI track. So we have audio 1, 2. Let's insert, multiple audio tracks. All right, we can do it this way, or we could do it with the shortcut. All right, so we got our 8 mono inputs, and then we're gonna have this stereo input, and then the master. So let me show you this. Audio 1 is gonna correlate with input 1. If you look here, we got input 1. Audio 2 is gonna correlate with audio 2, or input 2. Audio 3 is gonna correlate with input 3. Audio 4 is going to correlate with 4, and so on. 5 with 5, 6 with 6, 7 with 7, 8 with 8. That's all of our mono inputs. And then we have 9, 10, 11, 12, and then our master channel. So we can record simultaneously all of these tracks, all of these inputs into our DAW if we wanted to. All right, let me just pull this up. All right, so we have all the inputs set up. Now we need to set our levels. So let me show you how to do that really fast. I'm gonna take my guitar and I'm gonna start playing it. I'm gonna turn it up. All right, I got the tone how I want it on here. So I'm gonna start playing it. And now you notice you can't hear anything, right? But if you look right here, it is actually showing up. So there's a couple things we could do. We could put auto and then record arm, and we'll be able to hear it. Or just right here, just put monitor on in, and we'll be able to hear it. But right now, let's just put it on auto and then keep the record arm. Now on the physical device here, we have a gain knob. So what we gotta do is play the guitar, adjust the gain until inside of Ableton is at a good level. And then what I mean by good level, to me, a good level is around -18, all right, or halfway up the channel inside of Ableton Live. So watch the green. We're actually about 18 right there. But if you notice, if I start playing different ways, it's gonna be different. So I wanna put the gain up just a little bit. All right, so I put the gain up a little bit. We're sounding good. Now, the reason why I say -18 and not 0 is a few different reasons. Like, whenever you put effects on there, the effects don't want the input to be at 0. All right, the effects that you put on there, they want a good signal, but they don't want a 0 signal or a clipping signal. And that's just how I feel about that. All right, so we have the audio set on this channel for the guitar. Now we need to set the audio for the bass. I want to hit record arm there and put this on auto. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and push play up here. So I want to adjust the volume here and leave the input gain down on the mixer. All right, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to play Ableton. All right, and then what I'm going to do is just slowly turn this up until within Ableton we get -18, which will probably still be 18 right here. All right, so round right there is good. It's gonna give us a nice strong signal into Ableton to record. All right, so our bass is set up, and then we need to go ahead and set our levels for 9 and 10. All right, so this is input 9 and 10. So I'm gonna hit record arm, put this on auto, and set the inputs on this. So let's go ahead and play this. Again, I'm gonna put that on -18. I want all my signals on -18. This way, everything's already gain staged. And whenever I go to add effects or anything like that, we have plenty of headroom where we could go ahead, put effects in there, and you know, we could boost the levels however we want, put a compressor on there, add reverbs, and everything's gain staged and we're not clipping. So now that all that's set up, there's one more thing we need to do before we start recording. So if you push right here, there's a little D. All right, so what that is delay compensation. So if you look at options, remember we clicked delay compensation. So that enables this. So what we gotta do is once that's enabled, if you remember, whenever we go to option preferences, the latency is gonna be around 20 milliseconds. So what we can do is turn this to 20 milliseconds. All right, now I did a little testing. I think around 21 milliseconds is more adequate for me. You know, for whatever reason, maybe I'm lazy playing or whatever, but I did do some testing, and I did a whole sequence on testing. I could do another video about that to figure this out, but around there is pretty good. So now whenever I record into here, my audio is going to be automatically adjusted to the delay. So now everything is set up, except for I do want to put a plug-in. So over here is guitar rig. I want to put this on my guitar input. So I'm just going to drop it right on the channel. It's going to bring this up, go to my guitar amps. All right, and I want to pick this one here. Just going to double click it. It's going to load it up. This way, I got some guitar effects on there. All right, so I want to turn up my guitar. We're not going to be able to hear it. So I'm just going to close this for now. So I'm going to go ahead and push control on my keyboard, record arm this, and this one's already record armed. So now you can hear the guitar. You're going to be able to monitor everything. So that's the whole reason why I'm monitoring through Ableton instead of the board right here, because I want to hear the guitar effects. If I was recording a live band, or if I already had my guitar set up as far as my tone, I would monitor from the board, because there would be absolutely no delay, because you'll be, you know, monitoring directly from the mixer. But this is my setup now. This is what we're going to roll with. I am going to push tab and go in, or I just click over here, go into this other area, and then we'll go into it. Now, if you look here, I have an actual count in. So the first sequence on here is a count in, you know, of a hi-hat before the thing starts. Now, there's a few reasons why I'm doing this. One of the reasons is the MIDI does kind of go off a sync when you first start it, and it kind of corrects itself a few measures in. So that's one of the reasons. But another reason, it's just good to have a count in, because it just makes everything more natural whenever you start recording live instrument. There is one more thing we got to do. Is if you look over here, our sequence is actually 88 BPM. What I'm going to do is make Ableton's BPM 88. Now, Ableton's BPM is the same as our MPC Live. And then another good thing to do is test your levels for monitoring. All right, I know this is a lot of steps. This is like an intense video, man. I'm really letting out a lot of information in this video. I can break this down into sections in the future if you have any questions. So if you have any questions about any of this, let's like leave a comment, any question, because I'm really going over a lot of stuff here. So what I'm gonna do is push play on Ableton Live and then adjust the actual faders in Ableton Live to my headphones, to my taste, because I'm the one recording the guitar. So I need everything to be level in my ears. So that sounds pretty good. I could probably turn the drums or the bass down. All right, and then let's play the guitar, see what that sounds like. Guitar is a little loud. I'm gonna pull that one down. So now we're set up. We can go ahead and start recording. I want to turn the headphones up a little bit so I can hear what's going on. All right, and so that's a good thing about doing all the gain staging properly on the gain inputs is you can adjust your levels and you can adjust your monitor, but don't adjust your gain here once you have everything set. All right, just want to say that. All right, so now we actually have everything set up to record. And the good thing is once you have all this set up, you could save this as a template. So you could go to save as and just save this as a template if you want to. You see I already have one saved, but save another one. Livetrak, template, do it. All right, everything right there saved as a template. Now that everything's set up to record, we can go into this other mode, okay? This way we can actually see what's being recorded. And when we're ready, go ahead and hit record. All right, when we're done, hit stop, and we could take a look at what we got. So if you click into here, we can see that this is actually right on time. If you look, the bass is on time. If you look over here, guitar is on time. Now I did play a little sloppy, but the guitar is on time. Okay. If you look at all the transients, they're pretty much on time. And then let's look at the drums. Drums are on time. Let's see if we can open this up where we can actually see it. Boom. The drums are on time. So we're good, man. Everything's on time. We are ready. Now the cool thing about this is, since I didn't use all the tracks, I could actually record another guitar track on here. If I put this on input 3, take these off of here, and you know, I could actually record another guitar part. Now, I'm just coming off the head with this, so don't kill me if it's terrible. Guitar rig onto here, you know. All right, you get the point. The Zoom L-12, there you have it. This is an excellent setup. I don't care what anybody says about this. In the right hands, the Zoom L-12 is a powerful device. And you know, this is why I do videos about it, because it's legit. You can legit make music. I don't care what anybody says. You can make music with this thing. If you want more videos like this, remember to click or tap the screen over here. It's gonna take you to a playlist. You know, it's gonna contain more videos about the Zoom L-12. And if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe and click the bell icon. You'll get notified when I'll come out with a new video. My name is Matthew. Continue creating music, and we'll talk soon.